Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Zentilo from CZT Catherine Rousseau. All right. Um, this is a neat tangle and a recent one from Tangle Patterns. I highly recommend subscribing to Linda's newsletter or blog. I'm not sure whatever you call it. It all sounds, it's an email that comes to you every day, whichever way you want to term it. Um, in the description section, you will find a link to the step outs. I always do my own version and then link to the creator of the Tangle. That will take you to Tangle Patterns, at least in this case. And make sure to subscribe. And there's a link right below that. It's on the left-hand side of the screen. Also, make sure that you're subscribed to Zentangle HQ. So that way you can get, all news from them. Okay. This starts, and this is neat on a number of levels. So it starts off wherever you want the center of this to be. We're going to put an orb. And I haven't said it in a long time, but the reason we say it's an orb and not a circle is because the circle just contains too much pressure to be perfect. So we call them orbs. All right. Then seed shapes. So kind of doing a north, south, east, west type of thing. I'm going to go to the edges. Instead, I wasn't going to go to the corners, but I'm like, no. I'm going to go to the edges. So that way I am more assured not to run out of room. And I'm taking these all the way, almost all the way to the edge. All right. And I didn't explain, as you could see, a seed shape, curved line one direction, and then connecting the points, curved line going the other direction. And you can see it looks like a seed. Okay. Then we're going to essentially draw an. Let me back up. You could take this two different ways. One way, the first way I thought about it is, I can just do curved lines in each section. But then I was like, yeah, that could end up being a little dangerous. So what I found a little easier is to think I'm drawing a big orb using the hollowbow technique to draw underneath all of these seed shapes. And so if you watch, I'm gonna say it before I do it. If you don't know what hollowbow is, number one, it's a tangle, but it's a technique also. And you can, if you click on my name below the video or my picture, it'll take you to the homepage of my channel. I have a video on hollowbow. And so I call it the art of drawing behind. So what we do is, we're drawing, and then you pick up your pen. Instead of going over, when you hit a line, pick up your pen, travel it over as if you're continuing to draw, put it down on the other side, and then continue on. And if you keep it keeping it in your mind as if you're drawing, it really, really helps. Okay. And then, and going slow. That also helps. All right. So let's give this a whirl. So starting off just a little ways away from that orb. You get to decide how far away. And then two, it's like, if you have to, I'm turning the tile, but I'm also backing up as if I'm drawing and just continuing on. And the reason I give a couple ways, or more just depending, on how to approach something is because we all think differently and we all act differently. We all work differently, just period. All right, then, because this is going to be a double orb around, so same thing again, just it's a little bit smaller distance away. If you end up doing the first one and think, that was a little too far, you can always do it on the inside. Or if you just feel safer that way, to do it bigger and then come in smaller, that's another option. That's what I'm going to do on the outside, because the next step, it's the same thing, but we're going to go from pretty much the tip or just slightly under it, all the way around as well. This one is, when it's smaller, it's a little easier to do the hollowbow. This one, because it's such a big stroke, And again, going, just like, oh, just make the most beautiful curve line you can make. And same idea, in my mind, I'm picturing the bigger orb, and I'm not worrying about it at the same time. That one, because that one was a little short. Oh, this one was short too. That's all right. And kind of slowing down so that way they meet up. And then this one is a double line also. I'll tell you what, for whatever reason, I need to not think on the aura and just draw the line, because it seems like the harder I think about it, the more goofy it gets. But don't worry about it. The bottom line is don't worry about it. And there we go. Next step is we're just going to divide up this big space. And Catherine had 4 lines, and I'm like, oh, I like to do where I can divide it and then subdivide it again, but I'm like, nope, let's stretch. We'll do 4. And here's how I decided to come up with 4 and make them sort of even. So coming from here, I'm separating a little bit. I'm coming in from both sides into the middle is what I'm doing. So that way, it's similar to divide and subdivide. And it seems to work pretty good. Because I figure if I can, keep that distance similar, and then these two, it's kind of similar. It's close. And it's in Zentangle. Close will win you the cigar. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, because I forget that we do have an international audience, there's a saying, that, and I need to find out where it came from. Close, but that doesn't win you the cigar, or something like that. And in Zentangle, it does. All right, this is essentially the tangle. And what's neat about this is that it becomes, if you do it large enough, well, even if you do it this size, and this is a 2-inch by 2-inch bijou tile. But yeah, even on the side, this size, you can make it a reticula. And a reticula is really just, I look at a reticula, it's a different form of grid. So this will house other tangles. And so we can have a lot of fun with this. My first thought on this was to put orbs in these seed shapes, because I like to do that sometimes. And just packing them in. However best you can. And I do like to a lot of times start in the center and then work my way out both sides. And then of course filling in the little gaps, because and filling them in nicely. I could see little gaps that I was leaving. It's a challenge sometimes, because it's like you don't want to, you want to fill in the gap, but sometimes I end up going outside the line. That's okay. We can always just continue to touch up. So let's do these ones. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, I had a thought of what I wanted to do on the outside. Now I'm not sure. But let me share with you some things that you could do. So besides putting these orbs in here, now I could have done something else, like my favorite line dot dot in these seed shapes, and that would have looked neat. Or you could just do, little lines coming out of both ends. Could just fill them in, period. In these double lines going around, I wouldn't do it with this myself. If I left these open or just filled them in solidly, you could put little orbs in these rails, we'll call them, those little double lines. because that looks neat. Hmm. And then I'm thinking, but I think it'll make it too contrastful. So I'm not going to do what I was thinking. I might just leave it as it is. Here's what I was thinking, and I probably should have done it first. I was saying, you could put more lines in this big section and do like Knightsbridge, or you know what though? Oh no, I know. There's a new tangle or a new to me tangle. I have to look up the name. We did it not too long ago, so if you are following, I think I have it handy. It seemed like it was a name for embrace, German for, if I remember, because somebody nicely put that in the YouTube comments. Ooh, look at how that turned out neat. Oh, this is going to be very cool. And then we just do rounding on those edges. Well, or sort of rounding. You know, where there's an intersection. I was just trying to thinking of something that already has the lines in it. If you made these rail things bigger, you could do any border tangle. But part of me I was just thinking of doodah, that tangle, because that one is rather nice. And we'll leave this though at this, I do believe. But you get the idea. So this, it can turn into so much fun, and you are only limited by the ideas you have on how you can decorate this. Or you could just leave it as it is and shade it. That's totally up to you. And even though those could be neatened up a little bit, which I might do later, it has a neat effect as I'm looking at the screen. Really neat. Oh, well, here's how we can utilize those rails. One way. Putting graphite right on the inside of that rail or edge, whatever you want to call it. All right. And I really need to get a different tortillon. I think this is this one. I should date them. This one is old. It's very well loved. It's falling apart. Okay. I'm sorry. I get excited when it comes down to shading. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And if you are new to my channel, welcome, number one. And then two, I a lot of times will like to do the shading in steps, so that way, because for me it's a learning process, or reinforces. Oh, that's neat. Here's what that does, and then you're just seeing the one step. Versus sometimes if we make too many changes all at once, then you don't really see what did what. This one is a lot darker, which means. And now I have made a donut. Oh no, I'm thinking of it as a fancy coin, because we have St. Patty's Day coming up here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the inside, even though I'm leaving it as it is. And I'm while doing the daily tangle, I'm going to throw in an extra bit of fun on my own blog, and we're going to do have a countdown, 7 days to St. Patty's Day. And I'll still be doing a different. If it's if it's a repeat tangle, then I will be adding a tangle in, because I have my own goal of doing a new tangle a day. There we go. And so some days there might be 2. But when I saw this one, I didn't at first see the idea of doing it as a reticula, but I did see it as a way of making a fancy coin that would go right along with St. Patty's Day. My thoughts, anyway. So there we go, and you can have, like I said, just as much fun as you want with this. And while we're at this, I'm going to do the outside because it just needs it. So if you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, would love to have you. I'm gonna do it on a different order. Would love to have you be a subscriber to the site. So if you have not subscribed yet, it means a lot to me to see those subscriptions there. And also click the like button. That too. It's so funny because I see a lot of views, and then it's like, okay, but I'm not seeing that many, likes. So. And so, well, some of it helps me to kind of gauge some things. I'm still going to do a tangle a day, and I'm going to do a new tangle every day. But it's just interesting. Oh, see, that looks really cool. It's very radiant. Let's bring that out a little bit more. And but anyway, but yeah, feel free to share it, leave comments, any and all of those activities. I appreciate greatly. Because it helps to get the word out about my site. It helps YouTube say, oh, well, this person's interested in that, so maybe this other person might be. And it just helps. I'm trying to get these sides even. Maybe it's just the way the light is shining. Nope. Oh, so fun. All right. So cool. I mentioned the description section, so you can find links to the step outs. Below those, you'll find ways to connect with me if you wish. So there's a link to my website, my Facebook page, if you happen to be on Facebook and want to follow me there. Also, if you want to hang out with a bunch of crazy and absolutely wonderful Tangle addicts, come and join us on our private group page. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of really, really fantastic people that have gathered and just enjoy the art, the fun of Zentangle, and also just enjoying each other and each other's works, and our personal challenges for those that share, challenges in doing certain things, and then we celebrate our wins. It's just so nice. To let you know, if you go to join the group, there are questions required for membership, so just as a warning to be on the lookout for that. And I think that's it. So, except for that, I do teach classes online almost twice weekly. A lot of them are free. I do have a couple that are paid, so I can keep the lights on and keep myself in pens and other things that are my Tangle Addicts friends. We call it enabler alerts. Oh, this is cool, and then it's like, well, then it means I have to go get that because that sounds really cool. Anyway, like I said, we have a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you join us. Join us online for a class. They're so much fun. So much fun. You can get a flavor for it because I do post the replays. If you click again on my the name on my name or my picture, take you to the homepage of the channel, and then you can see the playlists. And I have a playlist of class replays, and that way you can just see. Or if you type in a name of a tangle, usually if you see the ones they have multiples that have colors like yesterday's, that you can be pretty assured that was from a class, and so you could always search. I don't have all of the classes posted, so and then I my intention is to have all of the replays for the free classes posted. Someday I'll get caught up, but rest assured, if they'll get there someday. So with that, thanks so much for listening to me ramble, and I wish you happy tangling.